Hello and welcome everybody back to my YouTube channel, Christian's Fragrance Reviews. Today we will talk yet again about another fragrance from the house of Amouage, and this time we'll talk about Sunshine Man. So after I purchased myself a bottle of Interlude, the review from last time, I really wanted to know all of the fragrances that Amouage had in their portfolio. And at this point I tested already most of their male fragrances. There are very few I haven't tested yet. And I also tested their unisex fragrances like the Opus fragrances, or also known as the Library collection. And I also tested a few of their female fragrances. So I know most of them. And one fragrance that really stood out for me was Sunshine Man. Unlike Interlude, Sunshine Man was love at first sniff. So I immediately fell in love with the fragrance, and I knew I had to get a full bottle. You can find the bottle for a really reasonably affordable price online. It doesn't seem like the fragrance doesn't seem too hyped in the fragrance community. Like some people who like it, like they really love it, but it seems like a lot of people also turned off. I don't really understand why, because I think overall it's an easy to like fragrance. So you can find this fragrance for I'd say a reasonable or like a good price online. Fragrances that I think don't sell so well from Amouage, they're like more discounted, so that's the reason why I can find them for an affordable price. So as you can imagine from the name Sunshine Man, the concept of this fragrance is all about the sun shining. So the fragrance is supposed to give you the feeling of warmth. Imagine yourself being in the holidays, like in your summer holidays, and having a lot of sun shining on you, and just like this warm, comfortable feeling of the sun. So how does the fragrance smell like? So the official notes are lavender, orange brandy, and everlasting flower. The everlasting flower is also known as the immortelle flower. So in the opening you get a strong dose of the aromatic fragrances, like of the aromatic notes of lavender and everlasting flower, and it's a really dry composition. I don't really get the orange brandy that people keep talking about. I neither get orange or any alcoholic notes of brandy, so I don't know, for some reason my nose doesn't really pick up that note. And then after about fairly quickly, after 10 to 20 minutes, the sweeter notes become more prominent, like the tonka bean and especially the vanilla. So the whole fragrance is constructed on a bed of vanilla. And then in the mid notes you also have the clary sage. So the clary sage gives a distinct spiciness to the fragrance. So the hard notes, official hard notes, are bergamot, clary sage, and juniper berry. I don't really get the bergamot or the juniper berry. Maybe the juniper berry is giving a slight bitterness to the fragrance, but definitely like the clary sage is prominent in the fragrance. And then in the base notes, tonka bean, vanilla, and cedarwood. So here especially the vanilla is prominent. So overall I would describe the fragrance as aromatic and also sweet. And then what's also interesting about the fragrance, even though it is a strong fragrance and it has a lot of these sweeter notes, it doesn't become as cloying because it has this kind of powdery texture. So that texture makes it in a way that the fragrance doesn't become too cloying, which I find really interesting, honestly. So about the presentation, so the presentation is all about the sunshine, you can imagine. So in the front you have the sun drawn on the bottle very beautifully, and then you can also see the color of the juice is like a dark yellow, like the color of the sun. You have the white magnetic cap, and then on the side the name of the fragrance is written. Then when it comes to the box, you can also see the sun drawn on the box, and then you have this blue background with the blue bubbles, and the blue bubbles actually are supposed to represent the sea. So imagine yourself going to the holidays in France, and then you smell all those aromatic notes of lavender and immortelle and the clary sage, and then you go to the sea, and this is where the blue bubbles come from. And then on the bottom of the box you can see the name of the fragrance Sunshine Man, also part of the Midnight Flower collection. And then on the inside here, this is where the fragrance resides on, and yeah, the velvet inside, and a very sturdy box, even sturdier than the one from Interlude. So in what occasion do I think you should wear this fragrance? This fragrance is mostly a free time or leisure time fragrance. I don't really see this fragrance being like worn in an office. It's too sweet and too happy and too youthful to wear in the office, and also it has a pretty strong projection. So when it comes to performance, yeah, this is an excellent performing fragrance. It has about longevity of 8 to 10 hours, again with strong projection throughout. So another really well crafted fragrance, again by Pierre Negrin, as with the Interlude fragrance, also in collaboration with Fabrice Pellegrin. And yeah, I think a lot of people are also confused about the fragrance because I think it's a summer fragrance, and then they notice how dense and rich the fragrance actually is, and they say, well, I can't wear this in summer. And I kind of have to agree there. I think it's better suited for the spring and autumn time when it is not that hot. But I think you could also wear it in summer because it has this powdery kind of texture. And as I said, it doesn't become as cloying as other fragrances, which can be like really fat in the air. But I wouldn't recommend this fragrance for the winter time, and especially not for rainy days, because in like during rainy days, the humid air, it doesn't really go well with this powdery, dry kind of texture of the fragrance. So I really recommend you wear this fragrance during a dry spring or like late summer night, like a spring day or late summer night. I think this is where the fragrance actually most shines. So overall, I would describe this fragrance as an aromatic sweet fragrance with like this French aromatic notes and this oriental sweet vanilla note. It's a wonderful performing fragrance with good longevity and great projection, and yeah, it's just an overall joyful, easy to like fragrance. And I think also a woman could wear this, so the sweet notes definitely make it unisex and the aromatic notes are not too manly. So I can recommend this fragrance both for man and woman, if I'm perfectly honest. So thank you again for listening to my review of Sunshine Man. I hope you really enjoyed it and found it insightful. If you did, make sure to leave me a like and subscribe, and I see you again for the next video. Bye bye.